What if a trained American Pitbull Terrier came face to face with a Kangal dog, not through a fence, not separated by handlers, not barking from a distance, but standing on neutral ground, no retreat, no distractions? Two dogs bred for completely different purposes. One engineered for relentless confrontation, the other designed to dominate predators that kill sheep for a living. This isn't a story about cuteness. This isn't a story about loyalty. This is a comparison between controlled aggression and territorial supremacy, between a dog that was trained to fight until its body gives out and a dog that was bred to end fights before they begin. To understand what would really happen, you don't look at emotion, you look at design. Point 1. Temperament and kill switch mentality. The American Pitbull Terrier does not think like a normal dog. Its temperament is not built for warning shots, intimidation displays, or prolonged standoffs. It is built for engagement. Once the pit bull's brain switches from calm to active aggression, it enters what handlers often describe as a lock-in state. The world narrows. Peripheral distractions disappear. Pain becomes irrelevant. Fatigue becomes negotiable. This is not a coincidence. Pit bulls were selectively bred for generations to continue operating under physical stress that would cause other dogs to disengage. Their psychology rewards forward motion, not retreat. In high-pressure situations, this creates a dog that escalates rather than reassesses. A trained pit bull does not wait for dominance rituals. It does not posture for long. It commits. That commitment is dangerous, but it is also limited. The pit bull's aggression is reactive, not territorial. It does not own land. It does not control space. It responds to threats that are immediate and personal. This means its aggression is powerful in short-range encounters, but lacks strategic patience. The Kangal dog is the opposite in every way. A Kangal does not enter panic states. It does not emotionally spike. Its nervous system is steady, slow, and deliberate. Kangals spend most of their lives surrounded by predators that do not announce themselves: wolves, jackals, and sometimes bears. This forces a different psychology: awareness before action. The Kangal's mind is constantly mapping territory. Where am I standing? Who belongs here? Who doesn't? It does not attack because it is angry. It attacks because it has decided, and once that decision is made, there is no hesitation. Unlike pit bulls, Kangals do not rely on adrenaline-driven aggression. They rely on certainty. Their confidence does not come from speed or intensity. It comes from mass, position, and experience. Where the pit bull explodes forward, the Kangal remains rooted. Where the pit bull fights to continue, the Kangal fights to dominate and silence. Psychologically, this is a massive difference. One is wired to push, the other is wired to end. Point 2. Aggression style. Pressure versus suppression. Aggression is not about who attacks first. It's about how aggression is applied. A trained pit bull attacks with what can only be described as pressure-based violence. Once contact is made, it stays engaged. It clamps, shakes, repositions, and re-engages repeatedly. The pit bull's objective is not submission. It is continuation. This is why pit bulls are so dangerous against opponents that hesitate or retreat. They exploit weakness through persistence. But this approach assumes something important: that the opponent will break first. The Kangal does not break. Kangal aggression is suppressive, not persistent. It uses intimidation only as long as necessary. When intimidation fails, it does not switch into panic. It switches into execution mode efficiency. Instead of repeated attack cycles, the Kangal aims to control posture: chest-to-chest pressure, neck targeting, gravity-assisted pinning. A single decisive moment, not a prolonged exchange. This makes a critical difference. Pit bulls spend energy aggressively. Kangals deny energy expenditure. A pit bull may absorb damage and continue. A Kangal's bite placement is designed to disable immediately. Behaviorally, Kangals are used against wolves because wolves fight as a group and rely on endurance and speed. Kangals counter this by isolating, crashing, and overwhelming. A pit bull's aggression thrives in chaos. A Kangal removes chaos. This is not about bravery. Both dogs are brave. This is about method. Point 3. Raw physical power and bite reality. This is where emotion dies and physics takes over. A trained pit bull weighs around 60 pounds. A male Kangal can exceed 140 pounds. That is more than double the mass. Pit bulls have a documented bite force between 235 and 270 pounds per square inch. This is enough to tear muscle and cause fatal bleeding over time, especially because pit bulls refuse to release once engaged. But Kangals operate on a completely different scale. Measured estimates place the Kangal's bite force above 700 psi, one of the strongest bites ever recorded in domestic dogs. This is not about latching. This is about crushing. Bone density matters, jaw width matters, neck thickness matters. Kangals possess all three. Their skull structure allows for wider bite coverage, meaning damage is not focused. It is distributed. This creates structural failure rather than surface injury. A pit bull causes trauma through repetition. A Kangal causes trauma through force concentration. Muscle distribution also tells the story. Pit bulls are torque heavy, Kangals are mass dominant. Once a Kangal gains positional control, physics takes over. There is no leverage advantage for the smaller animal. This is not speculation. Kangals routinely repel wolves weighing over 100 pounds, animals designed by nature to kill efficiently. Point 4. Speed, endurance, and the momentum shift. At first glance, speed appears to favor the pit bull, and in the opening seconds of a confrontation, that impression is not wrong. A trained American Pitbull Terrier is built for sudden violence. Its muscle fibers are fast-twitch dominant, designed to deliver explosive acceleration rather than sustained output. When the pit bull moves, it doesn't ramp up, it detonates. It can hit speeds close to 30 miles per hour, close distance almost instantly, and change direction with sharp precision. This makes the pit bull extremely dangerous in the opening phase of any engagement. The initial clash belongs to speed, but speed is not endurance, and explosiveness has a cost. Pit bulls burn energy at an alarming rate. Their physiology prioritizes immediate power over efficiency. Each burst of movement consumes a disproportionate amount of oxygen and glycogen. Their muscles flood with lactic acid quickly, forcing physiological decline even if mental drive remains high. This is why pit bulls are excellent in short engagements, but suffer heavily when fights extend beyond brief windows. What makes this especially important is that pit bulls do not self-regulate. They do not slow down instinctively. Their nervous system encourages escalation, not conservation. Even when fatigue sets in, pit bulls attempt to continue at maximum output, which accelerates exhaustion. This creates a narrowing window where their performance peaks, then collapses rapidly. Now contrast this with the Kangal. The Kangal dog does not rush. Its movement pattern is economical. Every step is deliberate. Every change in direction is measured. While the Kangal is capable of reaching speeds around 25 miles per hour, speed is not its primary asset. Stability is. Kangals evolved to patrol vast territories in harsh climates. They walk for hours. They remain alert for entire days. Their endurance is not flashy, but it is relentless. Their muscle composition is balanced, allowing them to generate power without draining reserves unnecessarily. Kangals don't explode forward unless they must, and when they do, they commit only as much energy as needed to control the situation. This creates a critical turning point in extended confrontations. As seconds turn into minutes, the pit bull's advantage erodes. Breathing becomes heavier, movements grow less precise, reaction times slow. Meanwhile, the Kangal remains structurally intact, breathing steadily, muscles still responsive. This is where momentum changes hands. A fatigued pit bull is still aggressive, but aggression without strength is not control. The Kangal does not need to outpace the pit bull. It only needs to outlast it. And endurance does not announce itself. It reveals itself when the other side begins to fail. Speed wins moments. Endurance wins outcomes. And on this axis, the Kangal holds the long-term advantage. Point 5. Final assessment. Control versus collapse. When people ask, who would win? They are asking the wrong question. The correct question is, which design survives its own limits longer? A trained American Pitbull Terrier is one of the most committed animals humans have ever engineered. Its pain tolerance is extreme. Its willingness to engage is unquestionable. It does not quit because quitting was selectively removed from its genetic priority system. That alone makes the Pitbull one of the most dangerous dogs relative to its size. But commitment is not supremacy. The Pitbull's greatest strength, its refusal to stop, is also its vulnerability. Because when the Pitbull reaches its physical ceiling, it keeps going anyway. Muscles degrade. Coordination falters, grip strength weakens, and once structural failure begins, recovery does not come in time. The Kangal does not operate near its ceiling. That is the difference. A Kangal's dominance comes from unused capacity. It does not need to expend everything to control a threat. Its size, mass, bite force, and positional advantage allow it to dictate outcomes without pushing into exhaustion. Where the pit bull empties itself early, the Kangal remains within safe operational limits. This makes the Kangal fundamentally more dangerous in prolonged or uncontrolled scenarios. Control is the key word. Pit bulls attack, Kangals command. Pit bulls overwhelm through chaos. Kangals overwhelm by eliminating options. A Kangal does not need to fight for long. It needs one moment of leverage, one correct bite, one positional lock, one instance where gravity aligns with force. From there, physics, not aggression, decides the result. This is why Kangals are trusted to defend livestock against predators that hunt in packs and kill efficiently. It is not because Kangals are more violent, it is because they are more final. This comparison is not an insult to the pit bull. In many contexts, sports, controlled environments, handler-guided tasks, the pit bull excels beyond expectation. But stripped of human structure, stripped of rules, stripped of recovery time, the pit bull's design collapses inward under sustained pressure. The Kangal was never meant to collapse. It was meant to remain standing when everything else retreats. Two dogs, two blueprints. One burns fast and bright. The other burns slow and unextinguished. Nature does not reward intensity alone, it rewards control.